Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Second Rate Podcast, the podcast where two guys meet up for a cup of joe. I'm your host, Seth.
And I'm your other host, Caleb, and today's topic will be life as commuters. Seth, what can we expect from today's topic?
Caleb, we don't need scripted segues.
What do you mean?
They were literally taken out of the script. We don't have scripted segues.
Not for mine. No, look, it's still there. What do you mean? Mine's still there.
We have the same script. It's literally not in there.
Well, mine didn't get updated.
Sir, what do you mean yours didn't get updated? Management didn't give you the new script?
No, it's still, look, it's right there.
Mine says copy 1 of 2. Dude, every time.
Second
Rate Podcast.
Roll the intro!
Hey guys, welcome back to the Second Rate Podcast, the podcast where two guys complain about their gas mileage. I'm your host, Seth.
And I'm your other host, Caleb, and today's topic will be life as commuters.
That's right, Caleb. For those of you who don't know, Caleb and I are both full-time commuters with an average drive time of about 45 minutes. Me personally, it takes me about 50 minutes to an hour, given the, average traffic that is going on in the metro area. Caleb, how long is your commute time?
It's about, according to Apple Maps, about a 41-minute commute, which turns out to be true. It is about 41 minutes. And we both travel up to the beautiful Crown College located in St. Bonifacius, Waconia.
It's St. Bonifacius, Waconia.
St. Bonifacius's beautiful Waconia.
That's right, Caleb. Today we're going to be interviewing two special guests.
That we will.
We're going to be interviewing someone with a range of kind of a hybrid, someone who's lived both the commuter lifestyle and the living on campus lifestyle, and then someone who has fully lived on campus. So we're going to get that scale of Caleb and I, who have been fully commuters our entire experience at Crown. For me, about 3 years now of commuting to Crown, and
about 2
years of commuting. Okay. And so we'll get that scale of commuting and someone who's lived both lives, and then someone who only knows what campus life is like in their college experience.
It'll be definitely a very interesting contrast from their experience as opposed to ours, because they obviously live quite close on campus. We, however, do not. And that raises the question, Seth, what made you want to commute as opposed to living on campus?
Yeah, the decision to commute was kind of one that I wrestled with when I first got to college, because I wanted to keep the jobs that I had in high school. I had 4 jobs in high school that I wanted to pay my tuition with, right? And I didn't want to lose those jobs. And so when I was looking at tuition costs and what it would look like to live on campus, and quite frankly how much it would cost, I couldn't really bring myself to pay for the cost of living on campus. I didn't feel as if I needed the college experience or the campus life to really grasp what the college experience was to me, because I was looking for experience in the work field and the different mentors that I could gain along the way, right? So I really decided to stay at home with my parents and kind of live that same high school dynamic of, wake up, go to school, come home from sports, go to bed, and do that same thing, just with an extended drive time.
The same dynamic, just far worse for commuting time.
Far worse for commuters.
Yeah, because for reference, we went to the same high school, and that was about how much was it for you?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. For me, it was about 10 minutes to get there. And so that commute time, pretty chill.
Pales in comparison,
because now we added an extra, 35 minutes.
Or more,
depending on traffic, if there's an accident. If you just got a late start to the day, oh my gosh, there have been times where you get a late start and you miss a class. And if you have just one more class, then it's is it even worth it with the gas that I have to use? And I have to then drive over an hour both ways just for one class. Is that worth it?
See, that brings up, that makes sense to me, because when I really boil down how much money it is for me to pay for each class, I'm thinking, okay, it's an average of about $16 for me to drive to school and back every day. And for me, after doing the calculations that, we did in business class, every class that I miss is about $9. So I'm spending more money to drive to school if I only have one class.
Yeah.
So if I have two classes that day, it's like, okay, it's worth it. But that one class, I'm losing money.
Mhm.
I'm, the balance to scale there just really doesn't work.
Yeah, and it really sucks because sometimes you just don't have a choice because
Nope.
mandatory sometimes in most cases and in most classes it is required, and so you don't really have a choice of like, it's not really worth it. I think I'll just stay home and figure out what to do online, or just like stay home, figure out what to do. You have to still go because it's like, oh, you have to attend this class or else you might be held liable in ways that you could fail or flunk the course.
Right?
Which is
Your
just
attendance
really-
credits won't be very great in that
Yeah,
class.
and you only have certain allowances before it's like, too much.
And see that
Too much, you failed.
That's a tough thing for us too, is the attendance part.
Yeah.
Is what happens if you're late to a class? What if you're tardy? Well, how much drive time does snow add to our commute?
Ugh.
I mean,
We have been graced this winter.
this winter was
Oh my goodness,
an
like-
absolute blessing
Yeah,
on
like-
our commute time.
Not too cold, not that much snow and ice, which adds like
Mhm.
easily 15 to 20 at least minutes to
if
the
you're
drive.
lucky.
Yeah.
That one lane going down Highway 7 and Highway 5, there's only one lane highways to get to Crown College.
Yeah, it's tragic.
It's just a mess.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, Crown is very gracious to those who have to drive in the winter, so it isn't usually a problem, but it has
That's
been
true.
a problem in the past.
Yeah.
And some of these issues, we deal with on a daily basis, and a lot of campus life people don't think about this. When you have school projects with a commuter, what does their commute time look like? What does it look like to schedule a project meeting at 9 p.m. for that commuter?
That means I have to. Oh, that would mean if I was scheduled to work with someone on, let's say, Monday, right? Pretty standard day of the week, first day of the week, if you will.
Right.
If somebody wanted to work at 9, that means my class is done at 12:50. So I would have to stay about 8 hours. 8 hours doing whatever. I don't have a campus to or a dorm to retreat to. I don't have
Right.
things to go back to and take a nap here and stuff. No, I'd have to just kind of sit around just.
You got to pay that $8.50 because we're not allowed to have a meal plan.
Mhm.
$8.50 for a lunch, right?
I'm not rich. I'm in college.
I'm in college
I
too.
don't have money. What do you
mean,
expect from me? I'm already paying you an exorbitant amount of money.
It's a tough life as a commuter.
Commuters are people too, guys. This is a call to action. We are also people.
This is a call to action. I mean, if we have a school project at 9 p.m., I'm getting home past midnight. That's assuming that you only take about an hour and a half to work on your project.
Yeah, if we have a
with your
school
group.
project at 9 p.m., I will not be there. I will simply not be there.
Tough luck. I am FaceTiming in.
That is tough toots. Zoom meeting, breakout room, put me in there. I am not going to be there.
Facts. And
Unless we were going to fail if we didn't do it. Then I might.
okay, well,
Because
most students at Crown are pretty reasonable and let us
Yeah, no,
FaceTime
that's
in.
true,
For
that's
a lot of this, we're not the only ones with this struggle of
Yeah,
the
no, it'd be
commuting
easy to-
life.
Yeah.
But of course, commuters miss out on a lot more things than just attendance and group projects. We
true.
miss out on campus life stuff as well, like intramurals and the mock rock and
Yeah.
the film events and
Mhm.
what's Professor Berg's thing that he does, improv.
Mm.
We miss all of those things because they're so late at night.
And we just
And-
can't. It doesn't make sense to stay hours with food? Question mark. We'd have to spend more to get food, and
Quite frankly.
yeah, it's just there's the give and the take with it. And now a word from our sponsor.
Oh man, I hate this orange juice.
Has this ever happened to you? You want to quench your thirst with something sweet, but all you have is this detestable tasting orange juice? Well, no more. Thanks to our sponsors over at freeoj.com. You see, with our top of the line orange juice, we removed all of the grit without any of the flavor. 1% pulp-free orange juice is innovation at its best. Is this what you were looking for?
Oh my gosh, second rate 1% pulp free orange juice.
Enjoy that glass.
So much texture, so much flavor.
And this is just one review out of the tens of thousands of happy and satisfied customers. Make sure to go to freeoj.com, use our code SECONDRATE at checkout for 10% off your first lifetime subscription. Thanks again to freeoj.com. Now back to the episode.
That raises a familiar question. Caleb, why did you decide to commute?
Well, you see, before I decided to go to the lovely Crown College, shout out, I actually went to a school in Germany called Bodenseehof.
Oh, yeah?
And that's a 6 months abroad, kind of. You learn about the Bible, you study, you deepen your faith. And in that, it's like a college environment. And so my first semester there, for about 3 months, I had 7 roommates.
7 roommates?
I had 7 roommates, and there's
That's
no
wild.
bathroom in the room or something like that. So it's just a room with like bunk, 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 like bunk beds everywhere. It's not like, room and then a common room. There's just everyone's all together. And then it actually was really, really a good experience. And then my second semester, I had 4 roommates. Well, excuse me, I had 3 roommates, 4, me included. And that was a good experience, and I had fun. I enjoyed it. They were cool guys, good friends. But when it came down to going to Crown, I am able to have the option to commute from home. And I was kind of thinking, I already have that college experience. I wasn't really feeling the drive and the necessity of like, oh, I need to live on campus to experience everything. So I decided I'll live at home, because it's nice to be able to have that separation, that if I'm feeling like I do not want to deal with people.
That makes sense,
Or if
because
I'm- yeah.
you kind of had that college experience amped up to another level.
Yeah.
You're in a smaller building. You're rooming with more people than the average Crown student does.
Mhm.
So you feel like you've had that campus life experience already prior to Crown College.
Yeah, I feel satisfied with it. Yeah. And so it's nice to have that separation. Then if I'm having a bad day or something, I don't share a room with someone. I can just come home and separate, which has, pros and cons, as we have discussed. There's obviously the point, like we said, of missing out on campus life, which is something I really struggled with my first year of Crown.
You did.
I was really, I didn't know how to find that balance of like, okay, what's like a good amount of staying? What's a good amount of leaving? It was just weird. It was a hard balance to find. I feel way more comfortable now that I've found, and I feel like I found a better balance to it. But it definitely was an adjustment for sure.
That makes sense. So, I mean, given these pros and cons that we've discussed, we've talked about a lot of perspectives from a commuter standpoint. Now, do we want to transition to our interviewees?
You know what? I think that's a good idea. But before we do that, guys, if you noticed any sniffling or excessively loud mouth breathing, I am currently sick. I just wanted to let you know, from me to you, this isn't.
Why do you do like the beta symbol? It's like,
I'm not gonna tell you.
it's like
This is just from
such
me
a-
to you. From me to you. I just want to explain myself. I'm currently sick. So, with that being said, Seth, send us out.
All right. We now find ourselves with the Joshua Johnson. Oh, we're at Crown now.
Oh my gosh, that was quick.
Wow.
Jeez.
Look who it is.
Oh my goodness.
Hi.
Our first guest joining us today is Josh Johnson, someone whom Caleb and I both have a long, deep, lasting friendship with.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh has lived both the commuter life and the campus life.
That he
Yeah.
has. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is great.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you.
Yeah, so I got a question for you, Jage.
Sure.
Given that you've experienced both sides of the coin, being a student here at Crown College, which do you prefer, commuting or living on campus?
I probably say the living on campus life. Not being so far away from like classes and everything. Especially when we have bad weather or
That's true.
I'll say.
sleeping in late. It's
That is
kind of nice
also
to have
true.
that chance of still making the class on time.
That's fair. I was over an hour late today because of the snowstorm we're currently having.
Me as well.
Yeah. And in spring, might I add. End of March.
Mhm.
Crazy. And would you say that you find it easier being connected to life on campus as a result of living here?
I would say, yeah. There are a lot of activities that like students will plan like 15 minutes before they happen. And so it's a lot easier to go to those things when you don't live 45 minutes away.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
There are a lot of spur of the moment things that, yeah, like we can't go to, and then some of the things are like planned at 5 or 6 or later afternoon, and
right.
Once it's past that certain time, it's like, nah, I gotta get home.
I can't go to Mock Rock, can't go to Late Night Live.
Yep, can't go to those things because it's like I don't have a meal plan here as a commuter because I'm oppressed.
It's too late at night. Yeah.
It's too late at night. I need to get home. I have homework to you know what I'm saying. And now on the opposite side, do you feel like there are annoyances as a result of that being connected and so close?
I would say, yeah. Crown's a very small school, and so everyone's kind of in everyone's business.
That's true.
Also, living next to people, like in dorms where the walls are like very thin and you can hear everyone's conversations, it can get kind of annoying.
Absolutely.
I bet it could, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you could change one aspect about living here on campus, what would it be?
I'd probably say being required to have a meal plan.
Oh.
Being a commuter, I wasn't required to have one. And then when I moved here, they were like, nope, you're having one. And, it's nice having like a kitchen at your dorm and being able to cook, but then you're still required to pay for your meal plan. So,
Right, getting your money's worth out of that meal plan. Yeah.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
Squeeze you like a sponge.
Yeah,
Put you through
absolutely.
that press and just
That transition of having a kitchen full time as a commuter like you and I have, and then coming here to campus and having a kitchen still, but then being forced to go and eat in the dining hall. That would make sense to me.
you can't fully make use of that kitchen all the time because then it's like, oh, I want to have a home cooked meal, for example, but I have to go to use my meal plan to actually make it worth it because I paid for this. Yeah, my goodness, capitalism, frick, dude. I'm kidding. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much
thank you
for coming out here,
Josh.
hanging out with us.
Thanks for joining us here on the podcast.
Put her there. Thank you very much. And all right, let's bring in our next guest, Seth.
All right. Now let's get Billy in here.
Oh my goodness! Whoa, hey man, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Good to see
Billy,
you.
thanks for joining us on the
Welcome.
podcast.
Of course.
Thank you
I'm
very
happy
much.
to be here. More than happy to be here.
Man, I love editing. Huh?
More than happy to
Great
be here.
thing.
Editing is just so great.
It is so great.
Oh, were you guys editing? I thought that just happened naturally.
It's that smooth,
Man, we're good.
and we are good. Billy, how long have you been living on campus?
I've been living on campus for about 2 years now.
2 years. Oh,
2 years. Okay, so about the same as Josh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you tell us a bit about your experience as a leader on campus life here on campus?
Yeah. Well, last year I was here also. I was in freshman housing, and I caught the eyes of some higher ups. I got swifted, as the kids might say. So
Oh, those young kids and their
oh,
colloquialisms.
these young
right?
kids and their phrases. But
Oh,
yeah,
my goodness.
I got swifted, and I got told that I was gonna do the SAB executive of marketing position. I was like, sounds good.
Shoot,
So, I moved into it this year, and now I didn't. The thing I didn't realize is how much of it was just planning,
Yeah.
like trying to get as many students as we can, in as many ways as we can. The introverts, the extroverts, the people with friends, the people without friends. Just how can we get them all to our events? How can we get them out of their dorms? And
It's a large group to cover.
It is a
Right,
large
sure.
group to
Reaching
cover.
as many different types of students as you can.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Not always the easiest.
No.
Nice.
Not
really
at
not.
all. Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So, with being on the student activity board, being a leader in a leadership position, how does then living on campus, how does that both in turn help and aid you that you're able to do things? If somebody needs you quick, you can just come kind of on a moment's notice.
Mm-hmm.
But also, then how does that kind of become a negative because there's no escape?
Yeah, I think you're exactly as you said it. Like, it's great because I'm there when I'm needed. I can be a little bit late. I can wake up. I can get a little bit more sleep. But also there's that almost the FOMO of if this group is going to Target, and so I better be there because I don't want to miss out.
Yeah.
And like if I'm in my dorm, I get a call and they're like, Billy, like, do you want to come to Target? Like, do you want to go get food? Do you want to do this or that? I'm like, I don't really have a good excuse to say no.
Yeah,
I'm
you don't just
here.
wanna-
Right.
Like,
There's that
I'm-
obligation to go.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
obligation. You don't just want to be like
that obligation.
no, but also you don't want to just tell them no. So
But
it's kind of like
it is nice though, sometimes because sometimes I'll just randomly be in the mood to see people,
for
and if
sure,
I was
yeah.
an hour away, and if I mean,
Yeah.
I guess granted, I would have friends if I was an hour away, but
All right.
All right, guys, and now welcome on. Oh, never mind. No, yeah, that is definitely a hard part of like, oh, hey, let's hang out, let's do this. But it's also for a commuter standpoint. I don't live here, and if someone wants to hang out, it's got to be kind of. It's a little selfish just by nature, but it has to be kind of in my time because I'm not gonna.
It's
Somebody,
It's gonna be formally planned.
Yeah,
It's
2 weeks in advance. It's like, hey, I have this week in April. It's like November. It's like I have this week in April that
like November.
Like my parents are out of town, so there's a few open beds in my house.
I'm
And
able
so
to, if you want to come down, have a sleepover, you know. Yeah, it's definitely much harder just because you're not going to drive up 40 minutes, waste that tank of gas, drive back down 40 minutes, further wasting that tank of gas just to hang out. And it's fun though. Hanging out is great, and it's just something to find a balance of as a commuter because you want to have friends if you're so inclined. But it's definitely
if you
hard
want
to
friends.
if you're a friend type of guy or gal. But it's definitely just harder as a commuter for sure.
Yeah. If you could change one aspect about living here on campus, what would it be?
Commuter oppression. I want reform.
Yeah, I stand for commuters.
Sorry.
That's it.
Caleb did get the bit.
You gotta make sure that fits in there. I thought it was good. I thought that was pretty funny.
I'd say the strict adherence to the Crown Covenant. Like, I think that's got to be like, I feel like everything I do, I'm kind of constricted. I don't feel like I'm an adult, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like,
That's fair. Yeah.
you know, it's like, you know, it's like I'm back under my parents' roof. It's like, rah, 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 you can't remember. I'm like, well, guys, I'm an adult.
Yeah.
Like, let me screw up if I want to.
Yeah.
You
Give
know.
you the trust to make those decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah, the responsibility of learning how to do it yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And that's a very helpful thing about college is that it's that stepping stone of, oh, you're living on your own,
Mhm.
but it's not full independence because you're not like paying bills going to 9 to 5 or whatever.
Mhm.
Typically, I guess for in our cases. But yeah, it's definitely a nice stepping stone of, oh, you know, you have more freedom now than at home.
Mhm.
But I get what you mean with the Crown Covenant. It's kind of like,
I mean, I understand the reason it's in place is to promote Christian living.
mhm.
But I think a better way to do it is to focus less on what we can't do and more on what we should be doing.
That's a bar. Clip it.
Yeah,
great.
and quote that one. Put it right across the middle of the screen, just right there. Just-
Right above
It's
President.
also my
Ben's
stripe with male purity culture.
All right. Billy, thanks for joining us on the podcast. Thank you so much for having you.
Very, very, very much a pleasure
Now
to be
get
here.
out there and be impure.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Hi, guys. Thank you for watching this episode of the Second Rate Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, AOL, Twitter, Instagram, Excel Sender,
Etsy, Pinterest, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and of course, XL Energy Center. Guys, I just want to take a moment to once again say thank you so much for watching this episode of Second Rate. We really enjoyed making this, had a lot of fun, and we really hope that it brightened your day. And if it made your day worse,